Good morning, and welcome to Group 6, conclusion and summary of our scholarly conversation. I am Jen Carlson, and I have with me.
I'm Rachel Zimmerman.
And I'm John Byron.
All right, so we chose for our scholarly conversation to use chapter 17 of our textbook, which is video games in the classroom, or learning with computer games. I guess I said that wrong. And we found very quickly that we have three different perspectives on this. I am a fifth grade teacher, and so technology use in my classroom and video game use in my classroom and use of computer anything is highly rampant. And Rachel teaches first grade, where there's some developmental appropriateness issues she has to overcome, and some, straight up use of their fingers and eye-hand coordination, I would imagine. And then John is the D2L administrator for MNSU and has not been in the classroom. So very different perspectives. John, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've discovered over your research and through this whole conversation? Am I muted?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's okay. Or Rachel, you could go first. I don't care.
Okay, I can go. Through my research to this conversation, I have had many almost justification moments as I'm reading and as I'm relating what I'm reading to what I do in the classroom. As Jen said, I do teach first grade, and so I can't incorporate a ton of games in my classroom due to my students don't know how to use a keyboard. They don't, where's the letter A? And so typing is very hard for them. So all they really can do is username and password, and that's about it. I also have limited computer games. My school has to share one computer lab, and in my classroom, I only have 7 iPads for my 20 students. So it has been a struggle for me to incorporate technology into my classroom as much as I would like to, just because if 7 kids are on an iPad, what are my other 16 doing? Well, that was really bad math. 13.
It's a holiday.
I do play it, we do IXL and Sumdog and Lexia. And so reading the story, it's nice to know some of the features that I've noticed that all 3 of those games have, and that I know that they are effective for my students.
It's interesting to me that you talk about the ratio of technology in your classroom, because I'm fortunate enough to live or to work in a district that has our technology initiative is insane. My kids have 1-to-1 Chromebooks. Our fourth graders do, our third graders do, and then our K through second has about a 2-to-1, so they have about 1 iPad for every 2 students.
Okay.
And then we have a fully functioning computer lab, which has 30 devices in it. We have 3 carts, 1 with MacBooks and 2 with Chromebooks, that are usable to any classroom. So that's never an issue in our school. But I've been in other school districts where they think fifth graders having Chromebook or having an iPad is a good thing, but you really can't. You can't do the same thing with an iPad you can do with the Chromebooks. So,
last year I actually taught 6th grade where we were 1-to-1 with iPads. So that is really hard coming from those kids that know how to use iPads and technology and can play games. And like I said in our conversation, I had a kid that was actually featured on Scratch, and he was he basically would review games for Scratch, and he would have shifts. So I don't know if he got paid, and he had a word for it. I forget what it is.
He's got a future at MIT is what he's got.
Maybe that's not, I don't know. But so coming from that to these first graders, it's just been really a big transition technology-wise for me. Yep. There was another point I was going to make, but I forget it now.
That's okay. I too, though, to go back to, you said you had some justification moments. You and I had talked about, I've had a lot of sort of aha moments in realizing, gosh, I have some things I need to change, but also I've had those justification moments too. And also some of the software that I use, like Khan, my perception of it was drill and practice, drill and practice, drill and practice. My kids' perception of it is drill and practice, drill and practice. And truly, it fits so many of the guides and the features that are supposed to be most effective for kids and for actual learning are present in that software. So it's well designed, but there's no there's no engagement. Like they don't, it's just like a worksheet to fifth graders.
Right, that'd be like IXL. I think in our conversation, I was like, well, IXL has this feature, but it's not exactly a game. It's just question after question pops up, and they get that practice.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in the video series that I posted, the one video that I posted talks about how, like, the purpose of gaming is engagement. Like, you think about it, the only reason you'd ever bring a game into your classroom or into an educational system at all is for engagement, right? It's something different. It's not paper and pen. It's brightly colored. It's over stimulus. It's all these other things. There's achievement levels that you can, work independently to get to. And if we're using things like IXL or Khan in our classroom, are we really affecting the engagement, or are we taking something that could be really, really fun and really purposeful and diminishing all of those qualities?
And I think that's the problem that you run into with, trying to use those things. And like we had said before, there really isn't a really good way to be able to evaluate some of these tools to be able to say, hey, this is good, this is not good. What are the tools really out there that are effective and aren't effective, so that we can actually use the ones that are effective and avoid the ones that are not.
Yeah, and that's what Rachel had posted about. We talked about having like a guide, even a checklist that teachers could go through, or not even us, but like, I like the idea that you posted on there that the game manufacturers have to do that. They have to say, here's the age appropriateness, here's the pre-existing stuff they need, like what skills are they learning? And even, I mean, you know what? I hate to say it, but map it to the standards.
I said that too. I said even standard-based would be an extra step that would be huge for us.
But standards-based, Khan is standards-based, so is IXL. Right. But they've sucked all the fun out of it.
Yep.
Well, it's funny. I'm big on, like, I like the simulations, and I think in one part of our conversation I mentioned this, but like I've been, since I took the gamification and simulations class a year ago, I've been taking my entire English language arts curriculum and turning it into a student-based quarterly magazine publication.
Oh, cool.
And so I've been doing it little baby steps. I'm actually looking for a job right now because my contract is up, but I'm hoping to get back in fifth grade because it's all very fifth grade based. Like, okay, this is a lot of work, but they feel like it's relevant to themselves. They can write about things that are relevant to the 10-year-old or 11-year-old, and they learn all these 21st century skills while doing it too. But my vision is to have a full year curriculum that is all based on this, like, we put out 4 issues a year or something. I don't know. That's
a great idea.
So there is.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It would be. It will be. if I ever finish it. But
yeah, it seems like the problem with all of those kind of things, if you want to do them, it takes so much time to set up pre-course time and things like that. It's almost impossible for you to get set up and for you to make sure that it works properly, and then you maybe bring it into the classroom, and then so it doesn't work properly, and then you kind of look bad as the instructor, and it just, there's so many other factors that could go into there that
Well, our district has a flexible learning initiative. That's one of our big goals, and I've been part of the cohort for the last couple of years, and one of the things that I've been sort of on the ground floor of is turning our math curriculum into a blended, very standards-based. They do some Khan, they do some projects, they do everything. We do everything from art to adding in our math curriculum right now, and we're the pilot, so... Oh gosh, look, the answer key's wrong. Oh, this makes no sense. Oh, why'd we put that there? And it was
right. It kind of sucks being the guinea pig.
Well, and I have some really smart students who literally are my beta testers. Like, when they work so far ahead of everybody else that they're coming to me with the problems before the other 23 kids know there's a problem. So it's worked out really well, but nothing like, kind of looking like an asshole in front of a 10-year-old. It's like, I didn't write it.
We're the great lesson in not everyone's perfect and we all make mistakes.
I say that all the time. I'm like, don't judge me till you're perfect. Come on now. Teachers make mistakes too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
see, I'm the opposite. I tell my students I know everything, but they're only first graders, so I can trick them pretty easily.
Well, I'll tell you, rolling out one-to-one Chromebooks with the fifth graders at the beginning of the year. So John, you said you've been wanting to get into education. This is my second career. I didn't start going to college till I was 40. Got my teaching license 2 years ago, but my background is in data management and computer forensics. And so literally
Well,
like
that's quite a switch.
yes, it is. I for the last 3 years of my former career, I did training, like corporate training, and I trained everybody from, like I worked in DC for a couple of years. My clients were like the Federal Trade Commission and the FBI and the Department of Defense. And so I trained their people on how to like do data management and computer forensics. So it was very nerdy and I loved it. And I moved back to Minnesota and I couldn't get hired because I didn't have a bachelor's degree. How funny is that? I'm like, you realize the Pentagon let me have coffee in their coffee shop and I bowled in the White House, right? Like, and now you won't let me work in Minnesota. There's something really wrong with that.
Yeah.
But my point was that I tell my kids, my job was to find the things people thought they got rid of. Like,
Right.
that was my job. And so I said, you have this Chromebook. It's a very powerful device. I know everything you do on it. And they're like, no, you don't. There's no way you can. So I gave them to them for a week. We sent them home. And then I sat at my computer and I logged in systematically to each of their accounts and said, one of you watched Adele's Hello video at 9:02 p.m. last night. One of you did this at 11:48 p.m. last night. One of you got up at 4:45 this morning and did this. And you should have seen these faces. They're like, what? I'm like, I know everything. And they finally figured out that it's their history that I'm looking at. And they think that they're smart, so they delete it. And the district has it set up to come back after 24 hours. So it never really gets deleted. I'm like, good luck, guys. Good luck with that. I just have to wait a day. I might be a day behind you, but I'm still on track.
Right.
But yeah, I think technology is such a wonderful thing, and I like the idea of games in our classrooms. I think that, like, I know Rachel, you and I talked about that, the key features, and here's how much I've spent on this. It's on page 373 in your book, where it lists the sort of promising features for improving learning with computer games. Like, so many of them, there's like, oh, that's not the page. Oh, see, I was being all cocky, and that's not what I wanted.
The 379 page one.
That's the one. See? Yes, where like the level of evidence, there's no evidence for some of those.
Right.
And those are like you can make an inference for reasoning. There's weak evidence. Learning how to make an inference is a 5th grade skill. So your first graders are never, even if there is backup and there's games that are developed specifically for that, it's never going to be developmentally, applicable to your little tiny ones.
Right.
But
I'm actually a little surprised on the memory.
Yeah.
Like, that one, I'm surprised that there's only a week, because I feel like that would be a pretty easy one of, like that game that we played as kids where the lights would light up in pattern and you have to remember.
Simon! The disc?
Yeah!
Simon!
Yeah!
You played it as a kid. It came out when I was a kid. I see. I'm old enough to be your mama.
From our memory, there's got to be games like that. So that one actually really surprised me. Memory is one that my first graders couldn't have.
Do you think, though, that the Simon game, the reason that it, do you think it improved your memory, or do you think the combination of physical movement, sequenced patterns, I think there's the sort of tactile function of the game?
There's immediate memory, and then there's that long term that I talked about, which I'm studying in my APP. Do a game-based learning help your long term, or is it that quick? I play this in this game.
I can't believe you're doing your capstone already. I haven't even thought about it.
Oh, yeah. I only have 4 more credits, and then I'm done.
Me too! But I'm putting it on hold to get my 5.8 math license this summer. So
good.
I take 3 classes to get my 5.8 math license, so why not?
I'd love to have a 5.8 math license, but I went to school in Marshall, and I could barely pass college algebra. So that was
well, that's one of the classes I have to take, and I've been doing Khan Academy, weirdly enough. So I'm gonna go take the AccuPlacer and test out of it. I can
there you go.
legitimately, of the 3 classes I had to take, 2 of them I could AccuPlacer out of. One of them's
good luck.
One of them's calculus, though. Good luck with that one. I don't even know. My daughter's got an engineering degree in December. I'm like, teach me this. She's like, I don't know that. I'm like, you have an engineering degree. How do you not know this? Mom, I don't need it in engineering. Like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. But, well, good luck for you in your capstone there.
Well, thank you. I need that.
That's awesome. If you ever need anything like proofread or I'm here. You let me know.
Okay, I'll keep. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna save your email.